So I've been working really hard trying to get everything ready for an alpha next week. Um, this week I've been focusing a lot on the sketching tools based on something an artist showed me about what they like about Moai. So I'm making a circle, duplicating it. I'm going to offset this circle and I'll scale both of them in screen space. So the first new feature is that I've added tangent point snaps. So for example, if I draw from this curve to this curve, there will be a tangent as well as mutual tangent snaps. So to make that a little bit clearer what's going on, imagine we do it a curve starting a little bit from an awkward place here, but want to get mutual tangency. So I can get tangency on the left here, but if I want tangency back on the right, I move over to the tan snap. Voila. Okay. Now, the next thing I want to show off is a refinement I've made to the bridging tool. I don't really have a gizmo yet, but it's starting to feel a bit nicer. So I want to bridge this guy with this guy. I'm going to trim this, and I'll do another trim here. I'll trim this out. And what I want to do is connect this to this, and this guy to this. So there's a bridge tool, which allows you to connect a curve from any point on one curve to any point on another. In this case, we want to do the endpoints. So I'm just going to draw this connection. I'll give this one side T2, the other side G3, excuse me. And then I'll do the other side the same way. Now you saw the color change. That's because we have the system has identified that this is an enclosed planar region, which means that, for example, we can already extrude this without having to like join any curves into contours. But I'm not yet ready to do that because the next thing that I want to show off is if I create, for example, a little rectangle here. One thing I might want to do is align this edge, or let's say this edge to this edge. The rotate tool, which is inspired by Blender, allows you to rotate in screen space or X or Y or Z, but that doesn't make it easy to align things. And in fact, as a Blender user, aligning is kind of a pain in the ass. Moai has a nice point picker based rotation, which I'm calling freestyle. So the key binding for this is F once you're in the rotation command. If you hit F, you can draw a reference line. In this case, it's from the midpoint of the rectangle to the midpoint of its top. And then I can rotate that reference point so that it's aligned directly with and parallel to this edge. And from there, we have a shape. We can extrude, give it some thickness, and we're done. So just to focus a little bit on the freestyle move, rotate, and scale. So if you have, so let me delete these. If you have, let's say, a box, and let's say we want to scale this along the x-axis, but I want the pivot point to be here. This is where the Moai style or what I'm calling freestyle scaling comes in handy. It allows you to draw both the pivot point and the axis of scaling, rotation, and so forth. So now X, Y, and Z scaling are all happening, but from the pivot point that we drew earlier. So this works for rotation, as we saw. In this case, for example, if I do this, we can rotate around this axis. It's just sort of like setting a pivot point and then moving also, we can move freestyle, for example, from point to another point. So we can align like this corner to the origin, for example, or if I want to move this corner to the origin, we can do it like that. So in general, I think 75% of the time, you do want to use the Blender screen space X, Y, Z style of transformation, but a good 40% of the time, you kind of want the Moai style. So yeah, that's now supported. I think there definitely needs to be a little bit more refinement and polish to the way it looks, but that's basically it for today. Next week for sure, or maybe even tomorrow, a Windows build will be available for the first alpha testers, which is going to be just 1 or 2 people. And hopefully in a few weeks, I'll add some more people. And whoever's interested, feel free to leave a comment. Thanks.